Okay, find the product. So same thing, we have an 8 that's multiplied by x, and we're trying to subtract a 3 not multiplied by x. Can't be done. 2 multiplied by x, trying to add a 9 that's not multiplied by x. Can't be done. So to find the product, you need to employ the FOIL method. So you take 8x times 2x and 8x times 9. Then negative 3 times 2x and negative 3 times 9. Remember, if the number has a subtraction sign, it has a negative value. You got to get that through your head. So x times x, x to the second, and then 16. X, and then 72. X, and then negative 6, and then negative 27. So x second, you have 16. We take the 72 and add negative 6, and that's 66. And then negative 27. Now what we're doing today is getting from here back to here. Now remember, when we get from here back to here, remember the numbers in front of the x's, the 8 and the 2, need to multiply to what's in front of the x second. Numbers behind the x's have to multiply to what the constant is here, which is negative 27. Now you're like, well, yesterday it was always just an x times an x, or a 1x and a 1x, but today it's not. So things need to change, okay, if we're going to do this. Okay, factor the expression. Okay, that's just not, you're not writing x equals x equals. That's when you solve an equation. Okay, factor an expression is just writing the two parentheses. You can't solve for x if there's no equals. Okay, there has to be an equals. Okay, so again, we see it's a trinomial, as all these are going to be here today. And trinomials, I go GCF just like yesterday, and the table. Now, you might do a GCF on a couple of these here. X on the end, no. Negative in front, no. 4, 7, and 3. Okay, so the only place 4, 7, and 3 are all together is in the first row, so that one we're not going to do. And then I told you to take A, B, C, so you take A times C. Now, 4 times 3 is 12, okay? 4 times 3 is 12, and it's positive. So same rules, we're trying to find two numbers that multiply to positive 12. Now bear with me here. Match, so either put double negative or double positive. They have to add to positive 7, so they will probably end up being double positive, but you know, 12 divided by 1 is 12, that adds to negative 13, that's wide of 7. 12 divided by 2 is 6, that adds to negative 8, that's wide of 8. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I add those, and that's negative 7. So we have the right pair. We just need to make it positive 7. Plus, plus, not hard. Now, starting now in this assignment, you need to bear with me. You need to make 4 parentheses instead of just the 2. You're going to put the mystery numbers in the first one. And you gotta put, you're not gonna put 1x, 1x. That's ridiculous because A's x seconds multiplied by 4, not 1. You are still gonna go x times x. Now, instead of placing a 1 in front of the x's, we are gonna put a coefficient of 4 in front of the x's. Now we know that this is wrong because remember I told you the numbers in front of the x's that we end up with in front of the x's have to multiply to the number in front of the x second. Well, 4 times 4 is 16. That ain't what we have. And I told you the numbers behind the x's have to multiply to what the c is. 3 times 4 is 12. So that isn't right. What you need to do is divide, okay, by the common factors. And it will end up right every single time. So 4 and 3, okay? 4 and 3 are in row number 1 together. Now you can divide by 1, but it doesn't do anything to it. Now 4 and 4 wouldn't be in a row together, they're the same dang number, okay? So you can simplify this by dividing by 4, okay? That's 1x plus 1. Now, in front of the x's, 4 times 1 is 4. Behind the x's, 3 times 1 is 3. And if you FOIL it out, okay, here, I'll do it real quick. You don't need to do this, but I'll prove to you that this works. Don't just take my word for it. 4x times 1x, 4x times 1, 3 times 1x, and 3 times 1. So that's x second with 4, that's x with 4, and that's x with 3, and that's 3. So x second, x constant, so you have 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, and then that's 3. Oh, that's exactly what we started with, so I just proved it's right. So 4x plus 3 will bring over here, take this 1 off the front of the x, and it's x plus 1. Okay, so there it's factored. Okay, that's pretty much what we're doing here. So 3 terms, GCF, and then the table. Remember, we're not putting x, we're not making a solution box. There can't be a solution box without an equation. Okay, no x on the end, no negative in front. 2, 7, and 6. So 2, 7, and 6 is just in row 1, so don't do it. Okay, so 2 times 6 is 12. Positive 12. So again, it's a match. Either put double negative or double positive. You can go back and switch them if you have it wrong. You're adding to negative 7, so they'll probably stay as double negative. 12 divided by 1 is 12, that's negative 13. 12 divided by 2 is 6, that adds to negative 8. Now that's still wide, but it's close, so keep going. 12 divided by 3 is 4, and there's your negative 7. It's right there. Okay, so you'll see me start to put in 2 groups of parentheses. You put in the mystery numbers. Your A is 2x to the second. So we know we're still going x times x with the x second. Now you take this 2 and apply it in front of each of your x's. Now 2 and 3 can't be simplified because they would only be divided by 1. So you can divide by 1, but it's just going to stay the same. 2 and 4 is not in simplest form. Those can be divided by the greatest common factor of 2. Now, somebody's going to ask, what do you do with this 2 you're dividing by? Nothing. It's deleted, okay? When I'm factoring these trinomials, everything I do in the top set of parentheses is out, okay? So, in front of the x's, we have 2 times 1. That's 2, and that's what's in front of x second. Behind the x's, we have negative 3 times negative 2, and that's the last term, 6. The numbers in front of the x's should multiply to what's in front of the x to the second. The numbers behind the x's should multiply to what the constant is, and they do. 2x minus 3, if you have 1x, you write that in as x. Okay. Okay, now, this one's going to be a little bit different because we are going to do the GCF. 2x to the second power minus 14x minus 36. You have a trinomial. X is the G, no x, no negative, but 2, 14, and 36. Here's 2, 14, and 36. That's 2, buddy. So it's 2, but not 2x. You can't do an x because that 36 doesn't have x. Can't do a negative because there's no negative in the front. But you're still going to go up and divide by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now, does that look like I'm putting x under the line? It doesn't to me, so that stays x to the second. The x second is not divided. Negative 7, am I putting an x there? No, I'm not dividing by x, that x on top stays. And then negative 18. Now, here's what you need to do. Listen now. When you do the GCF, instead of crossing it out, before you do your table, you need to factor out that 2. Put it over there. I need to see it over there. Then you cross it out, okay? Actually, you'd make your parentheses. Just put that parentheses 2 in the front, okay? This just comes to the front. And cross out the original problem, because this is your new trinomial. A, B, C. And A is 1x to the second power, okay? So 1 times negative 18 would be negative 18. So that's a mismatch. It's a mismatch of a positive times a negative. And we have to add to get to the B, which is negative 7. 1 and 18, that's negative 17. 18 divided by 2 is 9. There's your negative 7. Now, I'll still put in the 4 here. Positive 2, negative 9. So x seconds, x times x. Again, when you, on a trinomial, when you do the GCF, you want to put the GCF over here. I need to see it in front of the 2 main parentheses. Really, I don't care if it's in parentheses or not, but it needs to be over here. And then you forget that and forget that, because otherwise we're going to have people thinking that A is 2. It's not. A is 1. The x second is 1. Now it is. Okay, and then we'll apply a 1 in front. Well, 1 and 2 can't be simplified. They're only in row 1, so that'll just stay the same. Same with 1 and 9. They're only in the first row. So 1 times 1, you're like, oh, but 1 times 1, that's not 2 up. Yeah, that's why I told you to cross it out, my friend, okay? I mean, now my x second has a 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Now, 2 times negative 9 is negative 18. There it is right there. So you take the 1s off the front, and it's x plus 2, x minus 9. So when you do a GCF, you just put it in front. There's your answer. Now, the reason why this is right is because to check your answer, what you can do with the 2 from the original, what's 2 times x? 2x. What's 2x times x? 2x to the second. That's the original. Now, you also take that 2. What's 2 times 2? 4. What's 4 times negative 9? Negative 36. So it all comes out to the same thing. And if you just take 2 times x, 2 times 2, it'd be 2x plus 4, and then FOIL it, it'll end up the same 2. Okay, 8x to the second plus 11x minus 10, so it's 3 terms. So GCF and the t-chart. There's no x, there's no negative. 8, 11, and 10. No. 8 and 10 are in 2's row, but 11's obviously not there. So it'd just be 1 again. Okay. So there will be no mini parentheses in the front. Okay, positive 8 times negative 10, that's negative 80. So it's a negative. It's got to be a mismatch then. So positive, negative. That's how 2 things multiply to a negative, is if the signs mismatch on the factors. You are adding to try to get to positive 11. 1 and 80, that's negative 79. That's way too wide. 80 divided by 2 is 40. That adds to negative 38. It's not quite as wide, but it's still wide. 80 divided by 3 is a decimal. 80 divided by 4 is 20. So I put 4 with 20. That adds to negative 16, so we're still wide of the 11 mark. 80 divided by 5 is 16. I think that's negative 11, okay? So stop dividing. That's the right pair. You just need to make it into plus 11, positive 11, by making our 16 the positive and 5 the negative. You switch them around. So you will be putting 4 parentheses here. Now you put in your mystery numbers first. Quit putting 1x, 1x. That's ridiculous. That's not even close to 8. X second, okay? So x, and you put your coefficient 8 in front. You have faith here. Now again, That's not right because 8 times 8 is 64. That is not what x second has in front of it. Negative 5 times 16 is negative 80. That is not what the c is either. That's why you simplify by dividing. Okay? So 8 and 5, just 1. So that's already in simplest form. But what about the 8 and the 16? That'd be 8. Okay? So it's 1x plus 2. Now, the numbers in front of the x. 8 times 1 is 8. Boom. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Boom. Okay, we got it. 8x minus 5. Get the 1 off the x. Just write x plus 2. Okay, then 12x to the second power plus 36x plus 27. Again, don't make a solution box. Okay, so I have the trinomial. Okay, so x on the end, no. Negative in front, no. 12, 36, and 27, not 12. Not 6, okay? Not 4. It'd be 3. They're all in 3's row. So we do have a GCF of 3. But it's not 3x. Can't be x because we don't have an x at the end. No negative in front. So wrap that up and you go up and divide by just 3. So that'd be 4. We're not dividing the x second. We're not putting an x under there, so it stays x to the second. Plus 9x, and then, or no, 12x, my bad, 12, 12, 12. And 27 divided by 3 is 9, okay? That's a 12 there. Now, before you go to your table, you take that GCF, put it there, that's a factor, okay? It might not have x, but it's a factor. Then you cross out the 3, you cross out the original, and this is your new trinomial we've made after the GCF. With a having an x second coefficient of 4 now, not 12 anymore. Okay, so 4 times 9 is 36, positive, so it's a match. So negative, negative. It has to add to positive 12, okay. 1 and 36, that's negative 37, that's not even close. 36 divided by 2 is 18, that's negative 20, you're still wide. 36 divided by 3 is 12, that's negative 15, you're still wide, but not by much. 36 divided by 4 is 9, that's negative 13, so you're still wide of the 12, but just a little bit. 36 divided by 5 is a decimal. You have not been too narrow yet. 36 divided by 6 is 6, so you put 6 and 6. You can have identical pairs. And that adds to negative 12. You just need to make it add to positive 12 by making the signs into the opposites. Okay? So put in the mystery numbers. X to the second we rewrite as x times x. And we take that 4 coefficient and put it in front of the x's. Okay? Now that's not right. That's why you need to simplify by dividing. So 4 and 6. That'd be in row 2. And this is probably going to be the same thing. So 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3. And my golly, the numbers in front of the x's. 2 times 2 is 4, and that's your 4x second. 3 times 3 is 9. So you place these two factors here. That's what's called a perfect square trinomial because they ended up with the same factor, exact same. Now, you can just leave your answer like that. You will see a textbook write it as 3. They won't even have the 3 in parentheses. And then they'll have a 2x plus 3 to the second power because they're identical. Okay, that's how a textbook would have the answer, but you can just leave it like that. Okay, now we're going to solve a couple of equations using this. Okay, solve the equation. Well, if you have to solve the equation, you need a solution box. For your variables, you have x second and x. You are factoring. You have to use the factoring properties. Two answers. Zeros there, check it. So I see three terms. So GCF and the table. There's no x, no negative. 3, 2, and 8 are only in row 1, so we will have no use for that. We will just put an equals 0 behind our parentheses, and we will apply the zero product property. So 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. So it's a mismatch. Positive, negative. It's got to add to negative 2. 1 and 24, that adds to negative 23. 24 divided by 2 is 12. That adds to negative 10. That's still wide. 24 divided by 3 is 8. That adds to negative 5. That's still too wide. 24 divided by 4 is 6. That adds to negative 2. There it is. Okay. So you put in your parentheses, you put in your positive 4, negative 6. Now your a, here's my a, x second has a coefficient of 3. So you write x times x and you apply a 3 in front. Now it's not going to stay 3 because that'd be wrong, because that 3 times 3 is 9. That's not what's in front of x second. Now 3 and 4 is already in simplest form, so you can divide by 1 or just drop it. 3 and 6 is not in simplest form. That can be divided by 3. Now you're not doing anything with the 3, because now that's right. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So you got 3x plus 4. Drop that stupid 1 out of there. And x minus 2. Now you set each of them equal to 0. This is factor 1. This is factor 2. And solve. Okay, so we will minus 4, which is negative 4. Negative 4 divided by 3 is a repeating decimal. I don't want repeating decimals as solutions. You go second PRB, negative 1 1/3. There, now it's exact. I want something that if you plugged it into the equation, you can't plug a repeating decimal into the equation. That's 2. Okay, next one. We have x second, we have x, that's FP, factoring properties. So there's two answers. 0, we don't have it. Okay, by the way, that's a 1x. Well, you're going to minus 4, and then you'll have 0, but you have to minus 4 on the other side, but it has nowhere to go, so you hang it out. So if you have to rearrange it so it equals 0, you go with your highest, x second, x constant. So 5, 1, negative 4. Now you're ready to factor. So after your parentheses, you'll put equals 0. Okay, so you're there, GCF table. Okay, so there's no x, there's no negative, 5, 1, and 4. That'd be 1, so we would not need that. So a times c, that's negative 20, and it's going to be a mismatch. And it's got to add to positive 1. That's negative 19. That's way too high. 20 divided by 2 is 10. That's negative 8. That's too high. 20 divided by 3 is a decimal. 20 divided by 4 is 5, so you put 4 with 5. Now you can stop dividing because that adds to negative 1. We just got to make it into positive 1. So positive, negative. Okay? So negative 4, positive 5. Now a, the x second, is 5. So you're going to rewrite the x second as x times x. You're not going to rewrite the 5 ever on a trinomial. You're going to put 5, 5. Okay, 5 and 4 are only in row 1, so that's in simplest form. 5 and 5 are identical, so you need to be dividing by 5. So it'll be 1x plus 1. 5 times 1 is 5, boom. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, boom. So it's 5x minus 4. Take the 1 off the front of the x, and it's x minus 1. So now f1, f2. 5x minus 4 equals 0. X minus 1 could equal 0. So I plus 4, and I get 4. 4 divided by 5 is 0.8. You can write the decimal, or you can write 4/5. It's up to you. Then over here, plus 1 just takes you to 1. Okay. 3x to the second power equals 16x plus 12. So we have x to the second and x. We have to apply the factoring properties. Okay. So you write how many answers? You check for, you don't have 0. Here's the equals. I need 0, so get rid of these two things. There's nowhere to put minus 16x, so you hang it. It can't go with x second. There's nowhere to put the minus 12, so you hang it. So equals 0. Then we're going to go x second, x constant. So you have 3, negative 16 now, and negative 12. There's the trinomial. So GCF and the table. There's no x, no negative. 3, 16, and 12 are only in the first row. Positive 3 times negative 12, that would be negative 36. So negative, two numbers that multiply to a negative have to have their signs mismatch. A positive times a negative is a negative. And you're adding to the b, negative 16. That adds to negative 35, that's too wide. 36 divided by 2 is 18, and that adds right to negative 16. You trust the process, it'll work. So positive 2, negative 18. So the a, here's my a, x second has a coefficient of 3, so we go x, and then place a 3 in front. Okay, 3 and 2 are both in row 1, so that is not simplifiable. That will remain 3x plus 2. 3 and 18, that's in third row. 1x minus 6. Get rid of that stupid 1. X minus 6. So 3x plus 2 could equal 0. X minus 6 could equal 0. Subtract 2, that's negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 3, I do not want the repeating decimal. Second PRB it, and it's back to negative 2/3. There's your first answer. Then in the other one, you add 6, and that's 6. Okay, 3x to the second power plus 24x plus 45 equals 0. So we have x second, we have x, so we're using factoring properties. Okay, so two answers. Okay, your zero's there, and then GCFT, it's a trinomial. Okay, no x, no negative, 3, 24, and 45. Those are all in row 3. But no x. You don't put x with it because we have this thing at the end without x. So 1x to the second plus 8x plus 15. So now when you do the GCF on a trinomial, you bring it over and get rid of it. Get rid of this because now we're down to this. A is x second, that's multiplied by 1. So 1 times 15 is 15. Okay, that has to be a match because it's positive. So either put double negative or double positive. Since I have to add to a positive 8, they're probably going to end up double positive. That adds to negative 16. No. 15 divided by 2 is a decimal. 15 divided by 3 is 5. That adds to negative 8. Well, that's great, but I need it to add to positive 8. Well, then I'll go double plus instead of negative. There you have it. Okay, x second, x times x. Then you apply a 1 in front of the x's. Okay. Well, I don't think those simplify, like at all. They're already in simplest form. So please don't take off the 1's and you put x plus 3, x plus 5. Now you're like, what do I do with this one? This doesn't have an x, then it's trash. Get rid of it. If it's not 3x and just 3, it means you just don't have to deal with it. I mean, I want you to put it there, but you quickly delete it then when you go to solve, so you're not all confused. So negative 3, negative 5. Now, if that was 3x, I'd set it equal to 0 and solve for x, but it doesn't have x.